Welcome to the Veterans in Politics Talk Show. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, live stream on Facebook.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone, to the Joint Veterans Endorsement Interviews for Non-Judicial Candidates. At the outset, we'd like to formally recognize and thank our sponsoring organizations for making today's event possible. Sponsors Judge Mary Perry, Clark County District Court Family Division, Department P, and Christine Brewer, Clark County Court Family District, Department S, Veterans in Politics International, and Nevada Veterans Association. We'd also like to extend our sincere appreciation to our additional sponsors and community partners whose support helps ensure a professional, fair, and transparent endorsement process. We are honored to have all of you with us today. Before the interviews begin, let's review the rules and format. First, panel members will introduce themselves by stating their names and the organization they represent. Next, the candidate will introduce themselves. Please include the office you're running for and explain why you're seeking that position. We will then proceed to the interview portion. Please remember, this is an interview, not a debate. Candidates may not ask questions of one another. All responses are directed to the panel. In the interest of fairness to all participants, time limits will be strictly enforced. Each candidate will have 1 minute and 30 seconds to answer each question. When you have 30 seconds remaining, you'll be shown a yellow card. You have 30 seconds remaining. When your time is expired, you'll be shown a blue card, and you may finish the sentence, but then you'll be asked to conclude. After all panel members have completed their questions, each candidate will have 1 minute to make a closing statement. At the conclusion of today's interviews, we will once again recognize and thank all our sponsors: Judge Mary Perry, Clark County District Court Family Division, Department P, and Christine Brewer, Clark County District Court Family Division, Department S, Veterans in Politics International, and Nevada Veterans Association. Our additional sponsoring partners for their leadership, support, and dedication to veterans and the integrity of the non-judicial process. Thank you all for your professionalism, respect, and participation. Let's begin. Right down at the end here, Marlon, if you'll introduce yourself.
I'm Past Commissioner Varlin Higbee from Lincoln County. I can tell you right now what you're asking for is a thankless job. But so I've been in in politics for the last 40 years. Smaller county, but you get a pretty deep understanding of what it takes to run a county. Anyway, thank you. Glad to be here.
My name is Jeffrey Lustig. I live in Las Vegas. I am an attorney active here in Las Vegas. I'm also a former judge in Washington State, and I'm here today for Veterans in Politics International. Nice to meet you all.
I'm Tim Ross. I represent the Nevada Veterans Association. I live in Las Vegas.
I'm TK Crabb. Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Kess know me. It's nice meeting you, Mr. Hernandez. So anyway, I'm with Veterans in Politics. So thank you, gentlemen, for coming today.
Okay, right over here.
Yes, Edward Hamilton.
Microphone.
Edward Hamilton, and running for Clark County Commissioner, District E. Website is Vegas Hamilton for Nevada, the number 4. And running as the original Republican affordability and accountability candidate. In this race, I can say that I'm the most MAGA-aligned Republican. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. My name is Marco Hernandez. Pretty much this is my 3rd time running for County Commission District E. Been in the district for the last 28 years. Pretty much I've been out there working in the neighborhood, whether it's Little League, boxing with the kids, with the families. I've been part of that district for a long time, and I'm just sick and tired of looking at the district the way it looks. And for the last 8 years, this is the third time running, and first time run when I ran, I lost by 181 votes out of 12,000. So I think that if I would have lost, I think I would have been done, right? But the 181, that tells me that the district was very divided. Second time around, I came back as a nonpartisan, trying to get the votes on both sides of the aisle, and people are not ready for a different party, right? Or it's either left or right. Nobody's in the middle. So third time, I'm coming back as a Democrat and make sure that I get the win, hitting the doors, and make sure this time we're gonna get a different commissioner in the district. So thank you for having me, and glad to meet you, all of you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Manny Kess. I'm also running for County Commission, District E. Thank you to the panel. I also want to thank the gentleman to my left. Running for office is not easy, as Mr. Varlin said earlier, especially not doing it multiple times. I'm a business owner. I've been in Vegas 15 years. I'm running because, much like Marco said, I'm just very disappointed with the people that represent us. It's ego. It's not service. And all three of us want to see people that serve, that actually want to create a better tomorrow than we have today. I don't care about R's or D's. So I'll give it to ET. He might be the most MAGA aligned. I care about changing the district and changing the county. We need people that want to do right here. So whether you love President Trump or love Kamala or whoever, I don't care. Ice, no ice, I don't care. Community matters. So we need to fight to change what we're seeing today and make sure tomorrow's better. I have a daughter who turns 10 months old on Sunday. I do not want her to not be able to go to the supermarket by our house because it's full of drug addicts and homeless people. We're spending 9 figures a year on homelessness, but it's getting worse. The current commissioner is on record saying, I failed the county. Well then, sir, you failed us twice. Why are we going to give you a third chance? So as long as one of us wins, I take that as a W. But as a business owner, I think that I'm the best suited because I have experience in growing businesses, in scaling companies. We've all had setbacks in life. But you know what? You got to move forward. And the best way to do it as a county commissioner is with someone who's going to fight to make things better and has the ability to do so. Thank you very much all for your time, all of you.
And thanks to each of you again for being here. We'll start the interview portion of our program now. Marlon, you'll have the first question.
Sure. I'd like to lead off with your understanding of budgets. That usually boils down to what all bottom lines, and you're talking about being able to take care of, house the homeless or take care of them in some way, shape, or form so they're not standing on the street corners and sleeping under bridges and whatever. And it's all boils down to budgeting. So what's your thoughts on budgeting? And how would you budget to take care of the problems that you see in your district? Yeah. Let's go with that.
See if you'll start first.
The budget for Clark County government is about $2+ billion. And as I said before, I'm also running as the accountability candidate. That means we've got to put the checkbook online. The state of Nevada put their checkbook online, Washoe County also, but Clark County refused to do that. With the check being online, you can see where the check goes, and you can look into it like you can see fraud. So fraud and abuse. And currently the budget is very bloated. Like my opponent, Mr. Tick, he makes $300,000 plus from all his pensions, double dipping, triple dipping, and that's not right. And the airline's manager makes almost $1 million. I'm talking about total compensation. So the sources of the budget are the sales tax, fuel taxes, and property taxes. As the affordability candidate, I'm proposing putting more money in people's pocket. So I have a plan called 999, 9% at least cut to sales tax, fuel tax, property taxes. And with the money that we have, we can find by taking the 11,000 employees, the top 1,000 or 2,000, they make over 150,000. So we can cut their salaries and find some more money there to have food bank and kitchen, central kitchen. Thank you.
All right. So when it comes to the district, right? I don't know if any of you have been to the District E. I'm talking about from Owens and Nellis all the way down to, Tropicana Boulder Highway, Flamingo, Tropicana, Sahara, pretty much most of the east side. I'm not even including the Henderson area or the Lake Las Vegas area, right? Most of them on the District E, most of the business have left. That comes to not bringing any money into the county. My proposal is going to be coming in and make sure that we bring businesses back into the area, because a lot of those employ individuals that they're going to end up paying taxes, right? That's how we're going to get back a lot of that money back into the county. You look around, there's no businesses, there's no restaurants, there's no businesses coming back into the area. They actually leave. One of them is for one reason: safety, homeless. Those issues don't help you out in the district. So my vision is going to be bringing a lot of those businesses back into the area, so that we get some of the money back into the county, and then start working in that to pretty much beautify the district.
Hard to answer in 90 seconds, but I'll do my best. One correction to ET. The county budget for this year is $10.1 billion. In 23-24, it was $5.6 billion. We've increased our budget by $4.5 billion in 2 years. And like he said, put it online. Let's see where the money's going. People don't understand that when you're on the commission, all 7 of them vote on everything. But if you drive E, the streets are falling apart. There's no lights being fixed. The public pools, which is literally in your job description, parks and recreations, are decrepit or not working in E. If you go to Summerlin, you don't have that problem. If you go to Henderson, you don't have that problem, because the other 6 don't care about E. So when you have a representative that does not care, we fall through the cracks. And he might say, oh yeah, I got $280 million from Maryland Parkway. All that's done is shut down all those businesses for the past 2 years. So it goes back to accountability, being honorable, and actually caring about the district that you are supposed to represent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Hernandez, and Mr. Kess. My name is Jeff Lustig. I'm here with Veterans in Politics International, and I have a business in that district that you're running for. But I would like to ask you a question about ethics. We've had a number of instances this year when county employees have been indicated as having conflicts of interest. One notable operator was a manager who at an airport had a conflict of interest with a fuel company that he was involved with. We also had a person in the planning and building section whose wife was apparently gaining from some sort of corruption. There is a reputation in Clark County that corruption is just part of the business. It's just the daily part of our lives. How do you, as an elected member of the County Commission Board, change that? What type of measures can you, as a member, one of 7, institute immediately to clean up some of the corruption that we all know is going on in Clark County?
So I will say it like this, right? You got to step in and make changes, whether people like it or not. I know it's going to be one voice out of the 7, right? But at the end of the day, I think we start with stopping the corruption, right? Like you said, when it comes down to double dipping, right? I feel like some of those individuals need to come up and be upfront about, listen, I got to disclose this, I have business, this and that. And because at the end of the day, if you don't disclose what business you carry with, you know, behind your, you know, as an individual for the county, representing the county, or any of the employees for the county, right? That's where, you know, you start having issues like that. I wouldn't mind to come in and be, you know, put a different policy that, or check the policy that is in place to make sure that that doesn't go forward.
The answer is simple, and it's twofold. Number one, find commissioners that don't need the money, because all 7 of our current commissioners need the paycheck. So they'll sell you whatever lie to get your vote. And then when they get there, they do nothing, but because the system is rigged, right? Like he said, E is predominantly Democratic. So anyone with a D has a huge advantage. So as long as you push MAGA out, ICE out, I'm supporting the other side, oh, you're going to get a bunch of votes. So part A is find people that can do the job and don't need the money. Part B is you can be 1 against 6. When you're in the dais and you're a commissioner, you have a microphone. Speak on it. If somebody's being corrupt, have the moral turpitude to speak on it. Our current commissioner is the guy that brought marijuana, self-proclaimed marijuana guy. Well, you know what? You shouldn't have equity in marijuana businesses if you're a commissioner in the district or in the county. So yes, don't have people that just need the job and will say whatever it takes. Have somebody that has the financial backing to not be reliant on it. Thank you very much.
First of all, I forgot to say that appreciate the invitation to appear before the Veterans in Politics to get endorsement. Your endorsement is pretty important. In this issue of ethics, we got to make the Ethics Commission, or whatever it's called, to be more operative. So as a commissioner, I would have a resolution where citizens can make a complaint. If they get a ticket to the F1 for $10,000, somebody ought to report it. And then at the commission, every month, we'll resolve that issue. In other words, accountability. Bring it out in the open. That's my suggestion. Right now, the commission is strictly Democratic. Probably that's why, with one Republican, probably that's why there's no move to do this. So we need Republicans in there. And perhaps we can bring this issue to the forefront. Currently, they're not serious about ethics. So we got to change that. And we got to get the media involved. And that's the way to do it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I have a question. It's a little longer question. Listen closely. Okay. North Las Vegas Airport is owned and managed by Clark County. The Clark County Department of Aviation is planning to extend the runways to accept larger private jets like the Gulfstream 650 and Gulfstream 800. Bill Gates owns 2 of the Gulfstream 650s. That's the kind of people that have those planes. These are larger jets that the airports currently accept, and the airport has obtained a $200 million grant from the FAA to complete this upgrade of the airport. In order to make more money, the airport is considering taking over hangars owned by veterans and others at the airport at the end of their lease without compensation for their hangars. Do you think the airport should be allowed to use these federal funds to effectively evict veterans and others from the airport instead of renewing their leases and take their private property without compensation? Or should the airport renew the veterans and others' leases as they did in the past? Please answer and explain. You'll be first.
Sure. Well, as a business owner, I mean, I think that's treacherous. I don't know. I haven't read their leases. I think it's terrible. But unfortunately, we live in a point in this world right now, 2026, where corporate greed has no end. And look at the Strip. Half of the casinos are getting blood dry, and then you got the Wynn making $1 billion in EBITDA last year. So no, I would be against it. I don't know what the county can do as opposed to, if the federal aviation is getting involved and giving them money. I would yell at the top of my lungs, but I don't know if we have the power to stop it. I would be against it, but let's talk about topics and things that we can actually control and be changed.
The county controls the airport.
We control the airport, but you're saying that they're getting funding from the FAA. So if they're the funding is going from the federal government to do it, so we have to, the county at the end of their lease has to decide whether or not to renew the lease. What they can do is say, okay, veteran business, I'm going to increase it by 90%. That's technically legal, right? So it's a catch-22. I don't think you should get rid of small businesses to bring in more greed, but it all comes down to dollars and cents. If they're going to say, well, the county's going to make X more millions of dollars a year, then go to a public vote and see what the public wants to do.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
First of all, if elected, I'm going to change the airport from Harry Reid back to Las Vegas International by putting the issue on the ballot. We don't need Harry Reid.
Las Vegas Airport.
Correct, yes. But since we're talking about airport, for example, the county controls it by way of representation. The county has about 16 out of so many boards on the international, the McCarran. I don't know how many for the North Las Vegas, so that's where we should start. All these people appointed by the county, we got to tell them, you can't vote for something like you suggest. There's no equity there. It's against the Constitution to take away property without compensation. So that's how we got to approach that thing. We control it by appointing members to the board that control the airport. So I'm willing to listen to it and pursue aggressively on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
I will take a look at the agreements, like Manny was saying. Let's make sure that they're not in violation of any type of removal of the agreements on those. The second part, I will try to. Obviously, I'll be working on that if it happens, right? Because at the end of the day, they should go to Henderson, right? That's the one that they have the money. We'll spend the money out there. Or Boulder City, right? I mean, I usually go to that breakfast place on the second floor at the restaurant Sunshine, and I'll tell you what though, I see a lot of the veterans that come in and enjoy their food, and whether they're flying in from somewhere else, and it's just like one of those places that you could go and enjoy your meal, right? But at the end of the day, when it comes down to work on it and try to look into it, I would be happy to work on it and make sure that doesn't happen to the veterans.
Thank you.
TK Crabb, Veterans in Politics. Right now, I want to let you three gentlemen know I'm impressed with everything you guys have been saying. So, what do you believe is the single most important responsibility of a Clark County Commissioner, and what have others gotten wrong about it? Walk me through a recent commission vote you disagreed with and how you would have handled it differently.
You're first.
Thank you for the question, DK. And number one, the county politicians are more concerned about government than people. So we got to put focus on people, such as feeding the 100,000 people who are, hunger challenge. And also, as the affordability candidate, I need to have most resolution and laws passed to help the people, not the government. And for example, they're voting for a budget and that we don't know where the money is going to. Just about everything got to be scrutinized by putting the county budget online so we can see where the check is going to a nonprofit organization, which is maybe a communist organization. We don't know that unless we know the checks, where it's going. So the county must put focus on people. That's why they have to take a pay cut. Like Mr. Tick, our opponent, making $300,000 through 3 government pensions, double dipping, triple dipping. That should not be the case. That's not right. And also, the first priority is to take 10% cut, yielding maybe $2 million of anybody in the top 1,000 out of 11,000. Got to take a temporary pay cut. Use the money to feed the hunger. 100,000 people who are food challenge in the county. And also, we got to have tax cuts. You don't hear anything about tax cuts in the county. If anything, there's more cut, like they voted again. I would have voted against the fuel tax increase, like they voted for. Thank you.
So the fuel index tax, right? I was there actually at the county meeting for that event, and the one thing that all those commissioners left behind is the electric cars. They're on the roads, but they're not paying any taxes to be on the roads. That's something that I've seen, and I think we're missing out, because at the end of the day, if anybody knows about the electric cars, they're way more. They you're charging them, but you're not paying anything taxes into the county. So that's something that will work on it.
So I think your question specifically was, what have you seen the commissioners do that you didn't like, vote on that you didn't like, and what would you do differently? So I'm going to answer your question a little bit differently than these two gentlemen. In Commission District E, we have this small plot of land called Commercial Center. And what they're not doing is voting on it. They keep pushing it back. So last month I was there and it was on the agenda, and pushed it back again. There's $35 million earmarked for Commercial Center. Everyone's been talking for decades to revitalize it, but it's not happening. So rather than talk about what they've done that's wrong, I agree with the fuel tax index. They could have done things much better. And I don't like the fact that they were saying, oh, we made $1 billion. You didn't make $1 billion. You took $1 billion off of us to do things. But the union will tell you that $1 billion from the fuel index gets roads fixed. There is a process. But let's talk about the fact that Commercial Center, which was a vibrant, amazing part for our district, has been left to rot. And instead of voting on it and doing something with money that's already allocated sitting there, they keep kicking the can down the street because our representative doesn't care. So let's get somebody in there that cares, and let's actually do something with that property. Whatever people want to do, let's actually do it. Thank you.
Marlon?
So this is kind of a twofold question. One is your boundaries, your district boundaries. Do you feel that they have been gerrymandered to a point where your party is at a disadvantage? And the other part of that is because of that, does that have an effect? So I better explain myself first. So the county commissioners here in Clark County, each of them getting a tranche of money every year to spend in their district. I call it vote buy-in, and I think it's awful because it's huge. It's several millions of dollars that they can use to spend on a project in their districts. And if your boundary lines changed, how would that impact their ability to? Anyway, that just needs to be changed. It's your opinion?
So, if I'm not mistaken, that was 3 to 4 years ago that was changed, or a little bit longer than that, because my first time running for county commission, I was part of District E on Lake Bend and Mount Hood. Second time around, my area where my rental property at the time was part of it, we got cut out. So I don't know if Sarah Bloom cut me out thinking that was my property, or he was too high to realize that wasn't my rental property. But it was funny though, because that was the neighborhood I bought the house in 2001, and I thought it was pretty funny though. I was like, you cut me out. But anyways, the District E, I'll tell you what though, if the individuals that know that district, you guys understand, he goes from the poorest people in the county to the middle class to the rich people up in Lake Las Vegas. So does it affect? I don't think so, because at the end of the day, that district is diverse from both parties and all the economic individuals in the district. So that's my response.
Marco is one of the few Democrats in my district that I like. but he's got a huge advantage. Okay, so yes, the district is very gerrymandered. If you look at the map, it's a zigzag. I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, it's insane. But it's funny you were saying that. So today there was a Clark County community event at Sunset Park. You know what it was? A pickleball tournament put on by the commissioner, Jim Gibson. Tell me how that helps Clark County. I'm all for sports. I'm all for fun. But like E.T. said, there's people starving. Veterans, non-veterans. We have over 8,000 homeless, or Democrats like to say unhoused people. So why don't we do a food bank event where you give people food? Why don't you do stuff that actually helps the community instead of a pickleball tournament that doesn't do anything to help the community? When we're all thriving, I'm all for it. But right now, Clark County as a whole, we're going down the strip. We're losing money. Last year, tourism was down. This year, it's trending downward. I mean, as a matter of fact, March was the first month in the last 14 that we had an uptick. But they've lost the ball. They don't know what's going on. They're making a bunch of money, like E.T. said, and have no idea how to fix these problems. And we need people that actually care. Thank you.
Well, outrageous gerrymandering is no doubt about it, but it may backfire. Mr. Tick was on a show at Bernstein, and he declared that East Las Vegas is about 100,000 illegals living there. And in Henderson, Grand Cadence just added 10,000 families. So Republicans have a chance, because to discourage illegals from voting, I propose that we put ICE agents at polling locations, and we ban additional drop-off ballots for ballot stuffing. And I also, to improve on the safety, I'm going to ask President Trump, through Governor Lombardo, to bring 200 federal troops here, like they did in Memphis, Louisiana, Washington, D.C. That's how we take care of crime. The federal troops, 200-300, will work with Metro. Metro do the arrests, and apparently in other cities, they arrest about 200,000. So we have a chance to win this district. It is gerrymandered, but it's going to backfire on them. Grand Cadence in Henderson, Lake Las Vegas is about 25,000 additional. And if we put agents at polling location, ICE, the illegals won't be coming to the polling locations. And with the federal troops over there, we'll take care of the crime. Thank you. So I'm different. I'm not, I'm willing to do these extreme measures because they work.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, as you're aware, Clark County has thousands of veterans, some of whom are disabled, some of whom are homeless, and many who struggle just to make ends meet with underemployment and unemployment. Many struggle with service-connected disabilities, among those being PTSD, traumatic brain injuries. Some are at suicide risk. Many have transportation barriers and benefit confusion, and some even have justice system involvement. And they struggle sometimes with access to their benefits, as well as getting the exemption in their taxes each year, for which they have to go to Clark County and apply. If elected, what specific veterans policy would you place on the County Commission Board agenda in your first 100 days? What departments would be responsible for carrying out that agenda item if it was approved? And how would you fund it? And what measurable results would you hope to achieve on behalf of the veterans in Clark County if you're elected?
Mr. Kess, you'll be first.
It's a great question. The simple answer is healthcare. Whatever you're suffering from, the biggest issue that I'm on a board of an organization called MVP, Merging Vets and Players. And we work with U.S. vets and other organizations. But the biggest issue that I hear is always, I can't be seen. I got to wait weeks, months before I get an appointment. That's, to me, insane. So we need to make sure that when someone needs help, especially a veteran, and even if you're not a veteran, you should be able to see someone to get help. It's not rocket science here. If we have a shortage of doctors like we've had for the past few years in Las Vegas, go out and get doctors. What's the issue? Pay? Well, I'd rather we spend a little bit more money to get nurses and doctors here than spend $300 million to renovate a street that's going to take 10 years, or $200 million to build a brand new state-of-the-art homeless facility for 900 people that's taking 4 years to build. And it's going to require $30 million a year in upkeep. So if you address the issue and you talk about it, you might get change. If you don't talk about it and avoid it like the current commissioners are doing, nothing is going to happen. So it's about being accountable, talking about it, and then actually following it through and put my feet to the fire. If I say I'm going to do something and then I don't do it, don't reelect me in 4 years. Sir, you didn't do a good job. You're out. Who's next? Thank you.
Mr. Hamilton.
In this situation, the county appointed many boards, and they need to set up one board strictly for veterans. And the county owns UMC, the hospital, and they can work with the VA, as far as building and rebuilding. That's what I would propose. And we do need veterans to get help in the mental health situation. And I agree that you need more doctors, but you don't really need more doctors. Doctors can have, PAC, physician. I don't see doctors too often. I trust the PAC. They're just as good as the doctors, except they don't do surgery. They can write prescription, they can write a diagnosis. So we're going to increase that availability so veterans can have a specific board to handle this. And the UMC, which is the county hospital, they can get involved. So that's what I would propose. Plus, we need to give land to the veterans. I believe right by Cow Canyon and Lee Canyon, there's 58,000 of stolen land. I call it stolen land. Land that should have been given back to the people, meaning all people, white people, Indians, blacks. And right now we're not getting any land. So we need to give a lot of land for veterans to have homes, free land. We never got it as a state. In Oklahoma, they had 50,000 people doing land rush in 1899. We should have something like that here. These are stolen land. They got to be given back to the people. Thank you.
So last month, I attended one of the meetings with a friend of mine, Jimmy Vega, with the veteran group. And we kind of talk about how is it that sometimes the county or the cities, because he lives in North Las Vegas area, doesn't put any veterans in committees, right? And that's one of the things that I will work on, make sure that we get the right people in office, right? Plus, you get the right people to help you out when it comes to sitting on boards that they're going to help you out. My background comes from construction, so obviously I'm not going to bring somebody that I know from a different union or a different background that is not going to be able to understand. I will work with the veterans, make sure that we get the right people in office to understand what the needs are, right? I got a bunch of friends that are serving the military that I play softball with, that a little crazy, right? We used to play pretty hard, but the good thing is that they're not here, because I will come to the veterans groups and make sure that we get the right people in office, not just an individual that comes, connected from the party or, in the community. That's not my agenda.
Thank you. Everyone's answered that question. Okay, let's say that you're the new commissioner, you go into office at the beginning of your term, and you find out that there are 10% budget shortfall for next year. What's the three non-essential programs or services you would look at cutting first?
Well, obviously, the bureaucrat's going to get the axe. Okay, there's going to be at least 10% cut. That could yield about $5 million. Anybody that's costing the taxpayers over $100,000 will get the hit, maybe for 2 or 3 years. There's money over there. And we find fraud and abuse. Stop sending checks to people that don't deserve that. That's what I'm going to do. And also, we need to have accountability and to get money for people who are, food insecurity. And so I will never raise taxes, never, ever. And I will cut taxes. I will cut sales tax, gasoline tax. I think we can hit about 40, 50 cents a gallon to give to the people, and let the government bleed, not the people. And so my biggest thing is to cut government services to those that don't need it. Thank you.
Specifically, which three departments or three areas would you cut?
Okay, for example, the building department, and we don't need to build more Taj Mahal around the county. And the other one is to cut the salaries and benefits for politicians. Out of 11,000 people working for the county, 1,500 of them will take a hit. And the person who's in charge of the so-called Reed Airport, the guy makes $500,000. The airport runs itself. He doesn't deserve $500,000. 100,000 would be enough. So are we going to hit the overhead? A lot of Mr. Tick is costing people with his subscription. And he's got to pay for his own subscription, not the taxpayer. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez?
I'll be honest with you. I don't see the numbers. I couldn't tell you. What I would go in and ask for an audit on every single department to understand where they at, where they need to be fixing those cuts. Because at the moment, I won't tell you. I can't even see what's in front of me. I wouldn't commit to do any of them, but for sure there'll be some fixing on those. Once you get an audit, you realize where you kind of spending extra money. The one thing for sure I could see is that every time I get to attend one of those TNT auctions, there's a lot of surplus on those cars that they're selling, or trailers, you name it, any of the equipment from the Clark County that sometimes it never even got to be used. And I'll tell you the reason for that is, as when I was doing the coaching, I mean, we had to do ourselves the fields. We had to drag them. We had to do bring our own equipment to do it, even though the county has those tools to get it done. So that's my answer.
I completely agree with Marco. Without seeing the books, I have no idea. But like I told you earlier, it went from 5.6 billion to 10.1 billion in 2 years. And yet we got pools in our district that don't work, that need 20, 30 grand to be fixed. So like the movie says, show me the money, show me where we're spending it, and I'll show you where we can cut it. What I'm not going to do is what ET's saying. I'm not going to just cut people's jobs. I'm not here to say people should lose their jobs because they make too much. I want to see what you do. Is your job needed? If there are 3 people doing the same job, then we need to fix it. But I'm not here to tell you that I'm going to fire you or get rid of you because you make too much. People have been in jobs so many years. You get pay raise increases over time. You get stock depending on where you work. The reality is the county budget is bigger than the state budget. That's a red flag to me. Okay? We have Las Vegas Paving making more money from Clark County than any other company. Why? And I've got nothing against them. I'm just saying, I want to see it. Are they bidding or are they just getting contracts? He's the expert. He does a lot of building. If one company is getting every single stadium, I want to know why. So let's open up. Let's get accountability. Let's see where the money's going, and then we can have a real conversation, not just a partisan, rah-rah, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. Let's be smart in what we do.
Okay, thank you.
You mentioned my name.
No. We're not debating, okay? We have time for one more question.
Got it. Thank you. Again, I want to say thank you for each one of you because you brought up the veterans. I'm an Air Force brat, a proud Air Force brat, and when people acknowledge that, it really touches my heart, so thank you. Growth and development and zoning, you guys have basically kind of hit on it, but in District D, which you guys are aware, it's really big, and it's changing high-density areas. What is your philosophy on development approvals versus community pushback? Should there be limits on density in East Las Vegas, yes or no? And where specifically?
So let's see. Far East, we already touched Sunrise. That's my neighborhood. I'm on Stewart and Hollywood area. There's nothing else to build out there, right? Unless they have a few areas like my neighbor across the street. She owns three lots that are vacant. And that's because she doesn't want to see anybody to block her view from the strip, which it helps me, right? The rest of it from Owens all the way down to Flamingo, Tropicana, Boulder Highway, everything is developed. The new areas is going to be the Lake Las Vegas that has already been approved for many years. And the other area that I could see that it might develop, it'll be towards the wetlands that is not going to be able to do because it's BLM property. So basically, it's more like the empty lots in those areas in the district. We're not like the North Las Vegas area or the Southwest or the West. It's pretty much, I will say that 80% developed in that area.
Again, I like to say that I'm grateful for the gentleman next to me being here because it's not easy to do what we're doing, and I applaud them. I have nothing but respect for them. I want to answer your question directly. Yes, I'm all for development as long as it makes sense. And I'm going to give you a specific example because you asked. I support the A's. I'm a New York Mets fan. That's never going to change. I support the A's. I don't support the A's going to Las Vegas Boulevard in Tropicana. Terrible destination. So when you look at growth, development, you have to look at the problems, the gains. Can you make it be better? And these commissioners are not doing that. They're looking at a quick buck, whatever their deals are, and supporting their donors. We have an NBA team that's coming here. It's all over the news. So unless you live under a rock, you know it's coming. If you tell me that the NBA team is going to go on Flamingo on Las Vegas Boulevard, you're going to blow my mind. There's no way I'll allow that as a commissioner. It makes no sense. You can go anywhere else off the strip and have the same support and positive influence on Clark County. So yes, I want things to develop, but they need to make sense. It shouldn't just be a free-for-all for who's got the most money. Let's do whatever they want. It has to make sense. And we won't even get into F1 because my time's running out, but it has to make sense. And right now, what the commissioners are doing does not make any sense. Thank you.
We all know we need more homes everywhere, not only in Clark County or Nevada, everywhere. The problem here is zoning. Zoning is as old as the United States, okay? We need to have a different approach. People that don't want high density, fine, keep your neighborhood. But you should be able to build homes, like I said, something like a dwelling, 500, 600 square feet, 2-bedroom. That's okay. The American dream that we got to have a house 300,000 square feet ain't going to cut it. $500,000. Who can handle that? The cheapest home right now, brand new, 2-3 bedroom, is $400,000. We got to be able to build small homes or apartments under $100,000. That could be done, but you got to change the zoning law. And by protecting neighborhood that don't want to change, fine, but new neighborhood in stolen land, build smaller homes. A lot of people can stay there. So that's my approach to the whole housing situation. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the interview portion of our interviews today. If each of you will give us a 1 minute summary and tell us what you want to tell us at closing, please start right here.
Again, I want to thank the Veterans in Politics for the endorsement interview. And my campaign website is Vegas Hamilton, the number 4, Nevada. Vegas Hamilton for Nevada. That goes straight to our Facebook. Our website is our Facebook, where people can interact every minute, 24/7. You can participate in there. So they go straight, and I want people to go in there, talk about anything. And I said before, I will be the accountability and affordability candidates. Also, I want to fight crime by using federal troops. That's why by being MAGA aligned with the Trump administration, we can bring federal help here. We need it. District E is 80% higher in crime. Let's not play around. Bring the troops here. It works everywhere. And also, for the illegals in East Las Vegas not to vote, bring ICE agents to polling locations. We got to discourage illegal voting and stop adding more ballot drop-off or ballot stuffing. So that's my approach. And also I want to build a mountain resort in Lee Canyon. Thank you.
I want to thank you guys for veterans in politics to do this for the community. To be honest, especially being on the east side, right? Nellis Air Force Base it's been close to me in that area, so I want to thank you guys for doing what you're doing, and like Manny said before, running for office is not easy. This is my third time, and to be honest, I don't think I understood the first time, second time, and like my wife told me, this is gonna be it. I told her, I don't know, I can't tell you, I can't promise you anything in life, right? I said, but at the end of the day, I'm just sick and tired looking at the district that nobody does anything. This is one of the big reasons. I don't do it for the money. Trust me. I could stay at home. I could stay at work. Pretty paid. You know, I don't need the money. It's not about the money. I'm just sick and tired looking at the district the way it is, and nobody has done anything about it. And he's done it for the last 8 years, and I can't live with the next 4 years. So thank you.
Like these gentlemen said, thank you, Veterans Politics, for having us. I echo what Marco said. It's not easy doing this. And for me personally, as a business owner, it costs me money. So not only am I vested because of my family, I'm vested because every day I'm losing money. But in life, for me, it's about a legacy. It's about doing something to help others more than it's about making more money. Because you can either never have enough money or have enough. I have enough where I'm very blessed to have a roof over my head. And it hurts me to see people on the street in 115-degree weather begging for water, for dollars, whether they're addicts or not. That pains me because that shouldn't be a way of life. And then we have commissioners having paddleboard tournaments or take on 420 giving out mushroom brownies and pot brownies to people. Like, you've lost your mind. So we need change, and I would support anyone at this table over what we have today. And we might not all align on everything, but my God, you're giving out brownies on 420 and there's people starving in the street. I mean, talk about losing the plot. So thank you all very much for the invitation, for having us. And God willing, one of us will be here next year celebrating a victory.
Thank you once again, all of you, for being here today. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Judge Mary Perry, Clark County District Court, Family Division, Department P, Christine Brewer, Clark County District Court, Family Division, Department S, Veterans in Politics International, and the Nevada Veterans Association, and our sponsoring partners for their leadership, support, and dedication to veterans and their integrity to our non-judicial process. Thank you again for your professionalism, respect, and participation. Thank you.
Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Time, live stream on Facebook.